Hey everybody, in today's Pick a Card, we're going to be doing What Does Your Crush Think of You? Today's a little bit different. I'm doing two piles because I've been watching a lot of, they're like little yes-no short Pick a Cards on YouTube. And there's like two piles in each one. I find it so much easier for me specifically to choose between two piles versus like 3, 4, or 5. I don't know why that is. Maybe that's like my karma or something. And I know you guys probably haven't had any issues with picking between the different piles, but I want to start doing pick a cards where there's only two groups. For some reason, I feel this is going to be really helpful for other people who have this issue of picking crystals or piles or whatnot. And the ones I'm doing, it's just like an upside down card. That's kind of the thing that you pick, and that kind of determines the reading. And they're little shorts and stuff. They're not longer form content, but I definitely wanted to do longer form content with just two piles or two groups. So this is the experiment for that. Let me know if you guys like this, or if you also find it easier to choose the crystal today because there's only two piles. Anyway, so I totally spaced on the reading. I just had it in my head. Anyway, so that is today's reading. I'll show you the crystals up close one by one so you can like look at them and stuff if you need to. The way a pick a card works, you choose one of the two crystals on the screen. In the comment section down below, there will be groups and the crystals listed and timestamps associated with them. You just click on one of those timestamps and it'll fast forward you to your reading. Let me show you the crystals one by one. Also, throughout any part of this intro, you can pause the video if you need to look the crystals over or make a decision and meditate on the piles or really take your time to choose. That is also an option. So let me show you the crystals one by one. We have this piece of desert glass, right? Oftentimes this stone is sold online as blue obsidian, but it's actually just glass. And I don't know if it's like man-made or what, or if it's just in the desert. I don't know much more about it, except that it's glass that you find in the desert. This next stone is prehnite. This is kind of a lighter green stone. I don't know where it's found or anything, but yeah, this is prehnite. Yeah, let's see. So yeah, so take your time, pick your crystal, rush, pick your crystal, whichever way works for you, and I'll see you guys in your readings. Okay, group one. The first message coming through is I'm getting cheering. Like at a sporting event or something like that, like people cheering. I'm getting images of like football, or if that's not popular in your country, like just cheering and sports and stuff like that. I also felt really called to pull two cards from this deck to start your reading off. We have Spirit and we have Void. Ooh, interesting. One thing that your person is debating with you is kind of the thing is, are you connected to higher spiritual entities, or are you just full of shit? That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I think this person, what your crush thinks of you is like they're going back and forth between, is this person for real or are they fake? That is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I'm also seeing with the spiral imagery here that for your crush, you represent a person that they once had in their life already. You guys have probably heard me talk about the term carbon copy on my channel. When I refer to that, it just means a person who resembles someone else you've known in your life very strongly, and you resonate with them being very similar to that person, even if they don't have the same internal energy. So it just means someone who looks very similar to this previous person. Oftentimes this can deal with karmic contracts being closed or completed, stuff like that. But basically what I'm saying is you represent something like this to your person that you have a crush on. They see you as some kind of karmic contract coming back into play based on a previous connection in their life, whether that be a friendship or a relationship or some other kind of connection, maybe a past coworker they had, something like that. Whatever the case may be, they've probably told you that you look like someone from their past, or you look like someone similar to someone from their past. And if they haven't told you this, they're thinking it. I'm seeing this cloud come out of this person's mouth in the Spirit card, and it's kind of making me think of ideas. I think you guys have shared a lot of ideas with this person, whether magical, metaphysical, inspirational, philosophical, political, scientific, whatever aspects of your spirit that you've expressed, that stuff that is tied to your belief system. This person is processing those things and they're trying to figure out if those line up in their life or not. That's why we have the Void card. They're feeling like they can't comprehend what you're saying, but at the same time, they feel like they don't know if they should just ignore it or accept it. They're actually like really contemplating this. Let's see what we got here with the Spirit Animal Oracle deck. I want to pull a card to represent your person and you, and just get a little energy about the, I want to say biophysics of the relationship. So maybe that term. Let's get you guys. We have you as the crow spirit, and we have them as the turtle spirit. Came up in reverse. They came up in reverse, which indicates they might not actually think about themselves all too much as like personalities or people. It's funny, it's right above the void. I think this type of person, when it comes to complex psychological analyzing, they just don't do it. They're very like, their internal world's very like they don't think about who they are or like what type of person they are. They're just like, I'm here in the world and that's all there is to it. I don't really want to analyze too much about it. That kind of vibe. One thing that they are represented as a person is slow and steady wins the race. First of all, we have 6 and 2 boiling down to an 8. In this regard, with a person who's not so focused on their thoughts or their inner world, I would say this manifests in someone who is really good at manipulating and controlling their outer reality, even though they have a slow and steady pace to them. So the vibe that I'm getting is they're the type that believes that being slow and steady wins the race. If they have a goal, I mean, this is pretty self-explanatory. I don't really have to go too deeply into it, but like if they have a goal, they take it step by step and they're not afraid of waiting. This person has a lot of patience. Might be an issue if you are wanting a response back from them or you're looking for them to respond to some text or something, because this person, how do I put it? Like they have a lot of patience. They'll wait until they feel ready to make a move. And for some people who are more fast-paced types, who more need instantaneous communication, that can be very frustrating. I also see with the turtle spirit here, this is a sea turtle. Sea turtles are rather large, but they're rather, I would say sea turtles are like graceful and majestic and kind of seem like they would be spiritual. Like, I think this person's outer appearance seems like they would be a spiritual person. They might dress in like really like bohemian type clothes or wear crystals or something like that. There might be some element to them that makes you think that they are tapped in or tuned in spiritually. That might be one of the reasons why you approach them initially, may or may not be, but I feel like this is also one of the reasons why you feel like you could connect with them or talk to them about these specific topics. Although they don't really think about these things. They're not so much a psychoanalytical type of person. In this regard, they're attracted to this style of clothing for more superficial reasons, mainly because they like the artistic look of it. Doesn't go deeper to them. It doesn't go into like, oh, this crystal means this and that's why I'm wearing it. They're like, oh, this crystal's really pretty and I like how this looks on me. It's something along those lines. Now, you guys, on the other hand, with Crow Spirit here, we have co-create with Spirit. I think you want to work with this person. You want to work together with them. You want to like get into big philosophical discussions. They seem to you like someone who can have these discussions, someone who is like really powerfully, how would I put it, like intellectual in some regard, but there's something you're not seeing about this, because I'm seeing that the void energy and them like processing your ideas, it doesn't come across like this person is processing them in the way you think they are. You might think they're actually, oh, my air just turned off. Whoa, major confirmation. You might think they're processing these ideas in some kind of way where they're like really intellectualizing it, something like that, really digging into it, psychoanalyzing it, something like that. They're not. They're just kind of being like, oh, they're taking it kind of at face value, what you're saying. And they're thinking, should I accept this philosophy or should I deny it? It's like someone who's into astrology and you go up to someone and you say, oh, you're a Cancer rising, so you're going to be very protective and nurturing. And then also you have like a Leo sun. So like emotionally, like you really want to be seen. You really want to be understood and seen for your like outward appearance, something like that. And then this person, like, you know, they might think in their head, like, I don't know, like, they're like, oh, I have to decide if I'm going to accept that or not. But they've never really thought about it. They have nothing to compare it to because they don't have like a psychoanalytical sense of their self. They don't like know who they are necessarily. it's kind of an interesting vibe. I don't think this person analyzes themselves too much. But anyway, going back to you guys with Crow Spirit, co-create with Spirit, you're also represented by an 8 energy, right? Which means that you have a very good control of your outer reality as well. It's not just them that can control the outer reality, it's you guys as well. I also see that's interesting. This crow is looking right over at the turtle spirit, and the turtle spirit's like swimming away or is like focused up in this upward direction. It's making me feel like you're very focused on them, but they might not be that focused on you at this current time. I know what they're thinking is like, they're processing something you said, but it might not be in the way where you think it's very deep. Like, remember, this person doesn't like psychologically digest information the same way you guys do. It's very much like, oh, they told me this and I have to like decide if I agree with it or not. But at the same time, it's like, I'm swimming over here, I'm focusing on this. What they said is not really that big of a deal. But like at the same time, like I should think about it, or like if I do think about it, I can like put it on the back burner. I don't have to think about it right now. Like whatever, it crosses their mind every so often. With Crow Spirit here, co-create with Spirit, I feel like you guys are searching for someone to co-create with manifestations, with like building your life with someone. Like you want someone who's a collaborator that you can have romance with, and they can help you build and work on projects together. It's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. Also with Crow Spirit here, it's interesting. This person might have a more bright, cheery, kind of like bohemian kind of style, maybe more colorful in some ways, or more like flashy, but you guys over here are represented as more of a darker, kind of shadowy kind of energy. It makes sense why you're attracted to this person, because they are kind of the kind of light into your shadow, if that makes sense. So you might be feeling more like isolated, introverted. In this case, in this particular reading, you're being represented as someone who is more like shy. And so I do see that this is really interesting, because you guys felt comfortable based on this person's outer appearance to talk to them about these things. You felt like, yeah, based on who they are outwardly. Oh, I'm being told to pull this card. We have 6. It is what it is. Yeah, you were being called by their outward appearance to talk to them about these things, but they're not digesting it the way you think they are. It is what it is talking about this relationship is just what it is. You can't change it into something it's not. That is the case with both of these people. If you continue talking to this person, you're going to find this out, that they're not really thinking about what you're telling them. They're just like kind of, oh, whatever. And for some people, that's a really good connection. That's a good relationship, because it depends. If you're trying to like get their feedback on something, this would not be a good situation. If you're trying to get a dialogue going, this would not be a good situation. If you're only purely interested in your crush is, I want to be myself, I want to tell them all my spiritual stuff, but they don't have to respond. They don't have to digest it. Like, in fact, I prefer if it just washes over their head. Like, I prefer if they ignore it, because it's one of those things too, where sometimes that's nice as well. Like someone who doesn't really like feel like you're a crazy person, but at the same, because this person's coming through as very non-judgmental, right? Non-judgmental, but there's not really an interest in either way, like back or forth is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. They're just coming through as very like non-judgmental, but at the same time, not thinking too deeply about things. So if you want someone who's also non-judgmental, but like pays attention to what you say, actually takes an interest in what you're saying, and absorbs it or communicates it back with you, this would not be the partnership. But if you're very comfortable with just getting into a connection with someone who accepts you for who you are, but doesn't really analyze too deeply what you're saying, this would be a good person for you. And it is what it is, means you can't change this person. They're not going to start thinking about what you're saying on a really deep level. Like, it's just the connection is what it is. If you got more intimate with this person, they may try, but that could be a frustrating aspect, trying to make them think about things. So you just have to kind of, with this person, either accept what is going on, in a sense, like you have to accept what's going on, or move on, essentially. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting with this person. Let's get another card to represent other things they're thinking about you. What does your crush think about you? See, the message coming through for me is this could be something they want to say to you, but they're holding back because it's reversal on saying to you. See something that, there's something that you're probably holding back from saying to them, but is also in reversal. You're curious if your crush is lying to you about something. There's something that you might be curious your crush is lying to you. You're curious if they can accept your ideas or if they're lying to you about the fact that they accept them or not accept them, something like that. You're also nervous that your crush is going to take your ideas and run with them and then claim all credit for them, something like that. That's another thing that you guys are nervous about. Or if you're not nervous about that, it's one of those three things: lying, like how do they accept my ideas, or are they going to take my ideas, something like that. I'm also seeing you guys are holding some ideas in reserve. You're not just sharing everything with your crush, which is really good. Kudos to you. You don't have to share everything. But I do see this feeling of like looking back and wondering if you shared too much, you didn't share enough. Like there's this feeling of like, wow, what are they thinking of these ideas, these things that I told them? For a lot of you, it's not just about ideas, it's that you express feelings of some kind. But because we have the swords energy here primarily dominating, I would say it's something about ideas. Like you got into a discussion with them about some kind of debate or something, or some philosophical thing, and you're just wondering like, well, did they like what I said? Like, do they understand what I said? Like, that's kind of the vibe here. And it's kind of like questioning, like, did I say too much? Did I not say enough? And then there could be elements partially if you're nervous if they're lying about something, and it might be related to the fact that you shared some idea and they said like, oh yeah, like they said some response or something. And now you're curious, like, are they lying? Like, I don't think they're lying. They're just kind of like brushing it off for now. And deciding like, am I going to accept this as a belief or am I going to just toss it, right? But it's not something they think about totally all the time. Now, King of Pentacles is interesting on their end. I think primarily one thing that draws them to you is the fact that you speak in an authoritative way, or you have some kind of outward physical authority about you. This person does think you are kind of authoritative in some way, shape, or form. They might think that you're rich or wealthy in some regard. They also might feel you is very giving, something like that. But with it being in both these energies are being in reverse, these are things they're holding back from mentioning to you. So they might actually have a projected image of you, just as you might have a little bit of a projected image of them, or you think that maybe they're going to respond back to your arguments in some specific way. They actually, with the King of Pentacles in reverse here, are viewing you as someone who's very practically with it. Like someone who can easily make money, easily masters their reality, easily has control over people and events and their circumstances, specifically with material and pragmatic kind of outlets, right? They're thinking there's this side to you that can get things done or who has authority in particular areas. I would say if you talk to this person about anything relatively practical, like, how do I put it? Like if you were talking to them about how you would change a tire and the most efficient methods for changing a tire, let's say you got a flat tire or something, this person would listen super intently because they absorb information like that. It's almost like, okay, this is the way to do it. That's kind of the vibe they have. It's like, okay, this is the way to do it. I'm going to do it that way. And they view you with that authority. Whether or not you have authority in that department, that's something that if you talk to them about stuff like that, the way you look to them, they would view that as like a truth, right? But at the same time, they don't want to express this to you because they would like you to open up this side of yourself. And I don't know if you guys even have this side, if you are that practical with practical tasks, but this is a side that they would really enjoy from you. So for example, if you have specific methods of like, oh yeah, the most efficient way to clean your kitchen is to use like a dust mop on the counters, and then like after that, like use a wet mop on the floors or whatever. I'm using a lot of cleaning analogies lately because I've been cleaning my house a lot the past 4 months and stuff. But just getting more into like living in a more like clean environment rather than just like the squalor that I normally live in. But anyway, this is like the type of stuff that like practical stuff, like tangible, earthly, like tool-based stuff. They would also be really interested if you recommended any kind of product, tool, cell phone, gadget, anything like that, and like your opinion on that. Like if you told them like, I'm an iPhone person, not an Android person, right? This person would be like, yes, iPhones all the way, right? They're not going to really question your sense of authority, but they're nervous to bring up this aspect or like even compliment you on it or tell you about it. Because first of all, for a lot of you, I'm seeing this as an element of projection. You're watching this reading and you're like, well, I'm not like that. Like I've never shown them any aspect like that. That's because in a way they're all projecting a little bit based on your appearance and how you look, it strikes them as like someone who's pragmatic and practical and can like get certain things done in the outer reality, which both of you, we've seen you can get stuff done in the outer reality, right? It's just that you are sharing some spiritual topics. But remember what I said about your appearance and how you appear? You're like dark or neutral. You have like kind of like darker tones to you. So you have a sense of like pragmatic aspects to you that this person is drawn to, that they think that you would have these like pragmatic ways of knowing how to do something, or like knowing where to buy the right item or something like that, like knowing where to buy something, knowing how to work a specific tools, something like that. They're drawn to your kind of like practical side more than your idea oriented spiritual concept side. And I see you started to connect with them on that. It's like you opened the door connecting with them on spiritual topics. But ultimately, you guys would bond, especially my viewers who have that practical side to them, and also my viewers who've had it and they've worked with it. So for example, if you're someone who's spiritual, but also on the flip side, you have like do-it-yourself projects, right? Like you're the type of person who does home repairs. You're the type of person who watches the thing on YouTube and learns how to fix it, and you know the best tools and you know the best thing to use, stuff like that. This person is really going to appreciate that side of you. Maybe not so much your spiritual side of sharing ideas, it kind of just washes over them, but they'll really appreciate that practical component. Yeah, and based on, do I need to pull any more cards? Let's pull one more card. Where is that deck? Oh, I put it away. Well, let's get a new one out. I want to get a crystal one out for you guys real quick. Let's see, we'll use Crystal Wisdom. I just want to get one final message for this connection, for what your crush thinks of you. Let's see, what does group ones with the blue desert glass crush think of them? And we have Amazonite is the crystal for you guys. And the message on Amazonite says, I am fully aligned to and living my life purpose. I think this person feels like you're very in tune with like your life purpose. I feel like this person, like how do I explain it? It's like they really vibe with your alignment. So even if you share ideas with them and they're like, whatever, like I'll take it or leave it. Like, we'll see if I like follow that or not follow that. You know, they're very much like not deeply analyzing what you're saying in that regard. On the flip side, with I am fully aligned to and living my life purpose, they feel like you are completely aligned with what you're meant to be doing. They feel like you have complete control over the direction and fate of your life. With I am fully aligned to and living my purpose, I feel like this person feels like you have a deep sense of like connection spiritually, in the sense that you know what you want and you're not afraid to go after it. And they feel like you're on your true path that you're meant to be on. You guys might not feel that. Maybe you feel like you're a little lost or something like that. Some of you, I feel like, really are on your true life purpose path. But this person sees you as on that path. They see you as someone who is really integrating very well when it comes to the outer reality, what you want in life, how you're getting what you want in life. They feel like there's not much they can show or teach you in this regard, or that they need to help align you on your path. But this type of person doesn't like that anyway. They're not the type of person who wants to like teach or guide or align someone to their life path. They're not so much into that aspect of life. They just like people who know what they want and go after what they want and get it. And you guys have that kind of determined mindset to this person. So that's something they're thinking about you as well. And it's something that in the middle, I feel like it's something that you possess or you're working on, or you project that image like you already are in that. And so that's something they're drawn to you about. Like I said, currently what their thoughts are and stuff, they're just kind of thinking like, should I listen to what they're saying spiritually or just like disregard it? Because on one hand, it's like not hitting very hard. On the other hand, I can easily ignore it. It's not something I pay attention to. So it just depends on what you want in a relationship. Like, do you want the kind of connection where you can help someone out with these practical ways, and that's something that you value and how you want to be seen in a connection? Or would you rather be seen in a connection as the person with the spiritual ideals that are sharing and educating and teaching someone about spirituality, right? Maybe you guys like to be valued for both. Who knows? But this is kind of how your person thinks of you. One more thing, I want to put this number 6 up here is coming through as the one numerology number in this reading, as long as the 8s are. I feel like this connection is very nurturing already. Like there's a very nurturing, caregiving kind of energy between both of you. I don't think either of you wants to see the other one hurt in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't feel like an enemy kind of thing. It feels very loving and caring. you know, 6, the competition is coming through just a little bit, but not so much. It just feels like loving, caring, supporting. Yeah, that's what I'm seeing for you guys. I'm also noticing the stars here. I feel like there's something about looking at, when they look at you, they see stars. Like they see the image of like starlight, or they see celestial energy, something like that. Something about you guys being really pretty is coming through. Like you guys have really pretty features, or you have something about you where your eyes are sparkly is kind of what I'm seeing. Like a sparkly look to your eyes, something like that. Anyway, thank you guys again for watching. You can like or comment below if you really enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you feel like future videos will resonate. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, group 2. Let's see what your crush thinks of you. I feel called to pull 2 tarot cards to start this reading off today. Let's see. What does group 2's crush think of them? You have the Fool in reverse and the Moon in reverse. These right there. I'm being told to pull 2 more cards. So let's get 2 more cards out on the table for group 2. Yeah, there's a lot of like kind of confusing energy. I wouldn't be surprised if your crush is kind of confused by you just a little bit. Also with the 9 of Cups here, I do think this ends in a feeling of gratefulness for your presence. Like I'm getting a little future indicator here. This can also mean that your crush is grateful for your presence, something like that. With the Fool card in reverse, I feel like your crush, in their mind, the way their mind operates, they're like a wanderer of sorts. Like you can imagine them as like a little figurine in their own head, like wandering through the vastness of their mind. With 7 of Cups here, it's like they have a lot of play. Your crush feels like a daydreamer. I'm not gonna lie. It feels like a daydreamer. And the way they're thinking about you, it almost feels like you're one of many options, or they feel like you have multiple options. I'm really seeing them feeling like they are like someone who thinks about a lot of different things, thinks about a lot of different people. They might not actually be dating a bunch of people, but they think about a lot of different people. So the vibe is like you're one person of many that's on their mind. And I don't want to like say that they're like not solely only thinking about you, but that's basically like what's going on with them. Like how their mind works is it kind of tracks multiple energies all at once. So it's not necessarily that they're not thinking about you. It's more the fact that they are thinking about you, but it's like 5% of their thoughts. It's like then they have 5% of the rest of their brain in sections allocated to all these different other people. So it's coming through in a kind of scattered way. It's coming through in a kind of Neptunian kind of blended way where, how do I put it? They don't like consciously focus their thoughts. So we'll start with that. Now let's really try to narrow it down to how your crush views you specifically when their mind wanders to you. But I just wanted to make that caveat in the beginning of the reading that with your crush, there's a feeling that their mind doesn't wander to you for too long. Like it kind of glances over, which makes me feel, okay, let's see here. Let's see. We have create space, raspberry. Your crush feels like you're the type of person who needs space. Your crush feels like you're the type of person who protects their home life. There's this feeling of needing to give you space or wanting to give you space because you feel like someone who needs that kind of space in your life. There's another thing too, there's nesting instincts here. So your crush might feel that like, they might, if they haven't visited your home life, they might feel like you have a beautiful home, or they might ask you about that sometimes. Like there might be questions about like, I don't know if you guys are in this area of life, there might be questions about like home and garden, or like what does the house do, or like What does the house do? That doesn't make sense. Almost like asking about housing projects, or like how's your home life, or how's your family, stuff like that. They might ask a lot about your family. If you have kids, they might ask like, well, how are the kids? How are the kids doing? Stuff like that. Otherwise, this person really, it's like there's this hesitancy of like, I know, like I would love to just be isolated with them. I know I would love to just chill out and just be one-on-one with them. But your crush also wants to give you space. Like they definitely want to give you space, even though they would appreciate that one-on-one time. They're trying to give you space because maybe it's something that you maybe have told them you prioritize your home life, or you feel comfortable at home. For some of you, you've told your crush like, oh, I'm really an introvert at heart. Like I don't really go out much. And so your crush is kind of like, okay, give them space. Like they're taking all your signals as like signals to give you space. Another thing this could be is that you guys could be the types of people that like, I don't want to say you sabotage relationships, but there might be a vibe of like, oh, it's like my space and that's it. Like no one else is allowed and it's my space. Shout out to actual MySpace, if you guys remember that online platform. I don't know how many of my viewers are like old enough to remember that, but like MySpace was a thing. Anyway, and so there might be, even with thinking of the term MySpace, there might be even an element of creativity to this connection. Like they've used kind of creative as well. Let's get a few more cards here. I want to get some animal oracle cards just for personalities to see how they perceive you in this regard. We have crocodile. I'm getting a lot of reversals. I'm feeling to take these reversals. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm getting a feeling that they feel like you're very watery and intuitive. A little bit of both is what I'm seeing. Like, oh, sorry, watery and fiery. A little bit of both of those. Yeah, with crocodile here, it's interesting because I think they feel like you have intense eyes. Like they really are drawn to your eyes. They feel like you have intense eyes. Maybe too intense at times. This person you might find them really deeply looking into your eyes at certain periods of moments and then looking away from you. And this feels like a 50-50 situation. This is not someone who just like looks away all the time and then like glances at you periodically. This is not someone who's just like staring at you fully and not, how do I put this? They're not like just staring at you fully and then they like hardly turn away and they're just like constantly making eye contact. It's one of those eye contacts where it's like, you're looking, it's beautiful, and then you turn away and do something else, but it's like something they enjoy, right? And there's something about intensity of the eye contact. With fire ant here, I feel like they feel like you're a really hard worker. This is also coming through with these reverse cards, is stuff that they're either keeping to themselves or that they will keep to themselves. But at the same time, fire ant also talks about in reverse, it talks about their idea or their like vision for the connection is like they would like to do projects where there's like a lot of hard work, there's a lot of teamwork. Your crush views you as someone who is a strong member of a team, something like that. You guys might collaborate on a project, something along those lines. I see all these fire ants moving towards the center point, and then at this center point, there's like red and orange. It's reminding me of a sun, and it's reminding me of a group of people moving together from all different areas of the world towards a central location. So one thing that I'm thinking of is, you know how ants, I think they have a queen ant, right? Like bees, they have like a queen. I'm thinking of like bees and queen bees and stuff. I feel like there's this feeling that they're either really drawn to you because you're attracting them or vice versa. I will say, however, that I feel like you guys are both on a very similar path, even though you come from different perspectives, you come from different positions in life, you come from different assessments of life, but you're moving towards the same kind of central sun energy. And I think that's why you guys are drawn to each other. You can imagine it like basically like these two ants right here that are like coming from separate points, and then they finally meet up and they're like, oh, we found each other. And then they keep walking to the central sun, right? And they're just like, oh, we're gonna walk together. So I do think this person, even though it's kind of hard to know how they think of you, and there are these multiple perspectives here, and it's almost like with the ant card too, it's like they've seen a bunch of ants with the 7 of Cups here. It's like, I've seen a bunch of ants, I know a bunch of people, I'm thinking about a bunch of people, a lot of people are on my mind, and it feels very introductory phase with this crush. So I feel like if maybe your relationship has progressed a little bit, but for those coming to this reading, I feel a lot of you are, it's like an introductory thing with your crush. Like, oh, like we just kind of met, or I just met them, but we like are headed in the same direction, something like that. Like, could this be a thing? Air just turned off, so that could be confirmation for some of you. I also think it's really interesting too, because you're heading to like a brighter, happier future together, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. And it's one of those things too, where it's like, it makes sense that they only look at you periodically, because like you're both focused on some kind of goal. It's like, oh, we both need to get somewhere. We both need to go somewhere. We're both heading in the same direction, right? This brings up the moon energy up here, which is like an intuitive path that this person is flowing down. It's like a mission. It's like they know they have this path they're moving towards, and they want to keep moving towards it. This could just be something along the lines of like, it could be multiple things. Like maybe you both are interested in, I'm going to use some examples from my life right now. Maybe you both are interested in like filmmaking and you want to make movies, something like that. You would basically both be heading in the same direction, discover each other and be like, whoa, we're heading in the same direction of like making movies and film. And like, this is going to be cool. Like, we'll see where this goes. And I do feel like with the crocodile here, it's like you only have so much time to look at each other and to spend time with each other, because there's this bigger focus on a goal. Now with the moon energy here, I feel like this goal is really personal to them, and they don't know where they're going to end up with it. And vice versa. They don't know if you're on their path, if you're supposed to be on their path, if you're destined. This person, even if outwardly they don't represent it, in their mind, they're always wondering. They're a daydreamer. And with the moon energy here, they imagine different paths, but they don't know where they lead to. So it's one of those things where it's like their mind is filled with possibilities, right? They're not someone who internally has a goal and then they just push ahead to achieve it at all costs. And even if they had a goal internally and they didn't push ahead to achieve it, they let the universe come to them, but they ultimately knew what their future was. This is not that type of person. This is the type of person who like loosely holds concepts in their mind. Like they're such a wanderer in their own head. Like they walk around, they dream. Like this is the type of energy where it's like classic like lucid dreaming at night. Like for example, but in the day, it's like this person probably can lucid dream. Like if they go to bed or whatever, it's like they're the controller of their mind. They walk around, they do what they want. The dream doesn't control them. So it's like this person has a lot of agency in their own headspace, right? And something that's interesting here is that it's like kaleidoscopically going through many different people. They prefer to focus on a lot of different people and not just one specific person. It might be that they focus on you more over time. I don't know. But currently, their current thoughts, they're like focused on multiple energies. And we already covered that in the beginning of the reading, so I don't have to get too much into that. But when they think about you specifically, they want to give you some space. At the same time, these fire ants look a little crowded. It's like there's a lot of people going on this journey. And so they do want to give you some space. You guys might not need the space, but they want to give it to you. They feel like sometimes you need it, or you request it, or you require it. You just have given them that impression. And yeah, with the eye thing, I do think it's funny. The crocodile, like with his teeth and stuff, I feel like you both are hungry for this goal, whatever it is. Like you're both really hungry for this goal. But with the eyes here, it's like they only are going to look at you so often or engage with you so often because like you're both more focused on this goal than like the other, or at least that's how they are feeling about it. Like they're more focused on the goal than you romantically at this time. I do think though that in the future with this Nine of Cups here, they're going to be very, very grateful for your energy. Let's pull two more cards. Sorry guys, I really want to do this reading, but as I'm doing this reading, I realize I'm feeling a little spacey, which is not the worst, but it just makes it hard to concentrate and articulate certain words and stuff like that. Okay, I think I can put it right there. Get some. Okay, we have great and full, and we also have. Apologies if the cards are a little bit off screen. I still want to pull them. In a higher view. Yeah, I really think that you guys can alter and shift each other's perspectives. I think that they have a higher perspective of where this connection is going to go. 41 talks about 5, which is change, and it also can represent journeys like traveling. And so I do think there's a sense of movement in this connection, that you guys stimulate each other to move. I also think with great and full with a 4 here, there is some form of stability. There is some form of feeling like a sense of abundance. I also want to point out, like there's this red juice floating out from the cup. I do think as time goes on, the feelings of like happiness and joy are going to exude more in this connection. Like if you've already discovered them a little bit, it's like in time, like there's going to be more happiness and more joy, and it's going to elevate itself in this connection. Let's see if I see anything else. Let me just take a second to look this over, guys. One thing that's coming through is if you have children, they may feel like your children are really talkative, or you have extra communicative children, something like that. They may feel like the reason why you like your home life so much is because you feel wealthy or like abundant there, like a prince or a princess in like a palace at your home, something like that. Yeah, it's funny because I'm feeling super spacey doing this reading, and this person's super spacey, and so it's like maybe tapping into them is what's making me spacey. Who knows? But this person is definitely a daydreamer. Their inner world is way less structured than I think your guys's is, or anyone on Earth for that matter. And I don't know if outwardly they look like this, but inwardly they're like constantly traveling through vistas and landscapes and mental imagery and dreamlike locations in their mind. This person's very like that vibe, you know, like it's reminding me of when I was a child and I was very imaginative, and I'd isolate myself in my room and just like have imaginary characters and play over all these scenarios and stuff. This person has somehow managed to retain that ability into old age or into the age they are now. And so there's just this feeling of really dwelling in some kind of fantasy world where like it's almost like the goals that they have mix in with fantasy to the point where it's like hard to know like realistic things they're collecting in their head versus like fantastical things they're collecting in their mind. So yeah, just keep in mind if it's like how does your crush feel about you? How does your crush think about you? Their feelings in general, their thoughts in general are very like morphed, like is the best way to put it. So it might not be like a clear cut answer like you guys might be hoping for. But yeah, I try to narrow down on the best I could, and the cards actually revealed a lot of information on how they feel about you. It's just that like, you know, it's always shifting for them. Is kind of the best way to put it. And this kind of feels like something with the Nine of Cups here that's like how they think about you, the trends that they think about you over time. It's not like someone who, you know, is like a grudge holder, makes like a hard and fast judgment when they meet someone. They're like, oh, they rubbed me the wrong way because they said, you know, I looked this way or something, and I don't like when people say I look like that. And then it's like they had this grudge or whatever, and they like stick with that, you know. This is giving very much like fluid, spacey, kind of like I mean, I really don't know how to put it. They have a higher view of things too, like they know kind of where things can head a little bit, but I would say their mind's more full of possibility. It's like internally there's a sense of like possibility. It's less like grounded and clear. I know for me, sometimes I really relate to like trains because they're on a track and they can't get off them, and they're only going in one direction and they can't reorient. And for some reason, that's something that I've always related to as like a form of transportation. I've taken like psychological tests that talk about like why a form of transportation is your favorite transportation, and it usually has something to do with like a car, you can always switch lanes, and there's an element of like free will. But a train, it's like you're going somewhere, it's a set destination. You know, like it's like there's no maneuvering. This person, however, like in their mind, it's like they're using every mode of transportation, right? They're on a train, then they get off onto an airplane, they're traveling across the globe in seconds, and then they're staying in a little town and they're like riding around on a Segway. You know, like whatever the case may be, this person is just like so adaptable with how they maneuver in their own mind, you know, like to the point where like for me as a reader, it's very I don't know how to explain it. Like it's so open-ended, right? This person's so open-ended in their head. Which is funny because I feel like you're both naturally drawn to this sun energy, and whether they realize it or not, they're moving in this direction towards this kind of ultimate goal of like, whatever this ultimate goal is, that you guys will know what this is. If you're watching this reading and it's resonating already, you'll know what this goal is that you're both working towards. It'll be very obvious. If it's not very obvious, maybe the reading's not for you. But yeah, air just turned on for confirmation for that. So let's see. I mean, you guys can still get stuff from a reading if like this one piece doesn't resonate, obviously. You know my motto on my channel. Take what nourishes your soul and leave the rest. But yeah, these raspberries mean something. I know this is the name of the card, it says raspberry, but there's something about raspberries that are significant, or like a pink fruit. Why is this so significant? Because I keep going back to these raspberries. Like I keep looking at these raspberries or going back to this fruit. There's something about fruit that's significant. Maybe like ripe fruit. I don't know. The first thing that came to my mind when I thought of raspberries is like how I personally feel about raspberries, how they're like a little sweet, but then like sometimes they can be sour. You know, that's kind of like blackberries, honestly, but like the ones we get here. But it's giving me the vibe of like sweet and sour. Like this person might be sweet and sour. They might have sweet and sour feelings about you. It's like they bite into you or they have an experience with you and they're like, ooh, tart, something like that. Like it's kind of that's the flavor of how they view you. Maybe some of you are like sensorily gifted. Like maybe some of you watching are actually like really, like I have a friend who's kind of wants to be a sommelier. Like he's really gifted with senses. Like he's really gifted in like knowing certain textures, tastes, colors, stuff like that. Maybe you guys are like that. You perceive the world in a very sensory oriented way. So with the raspberries here, that's like a way that you can understand how they feel about you by like the way you know what it's like when you're eating a raspberry, right? Like it's like, oh, I ate this raspberry and it'll have this effect on me, you know? So for some of you, if you love raspberries, that can be an indication that this person really loves you. And if you like really despise raspberries, you're not into them, that could be an indication in this reading that this person feels that same way about you, right? I'm seeing raspberries as the conduit that connects this whole thing together as far as the feelings go. So for those of you that are sensory oriented individuals, this could be a strong sign in this reading of how your person is reflected at you. There might be differences in sensory stuff too. Like there might be a feeling of, because this raspberries are coming through very vaguely, so I'm trying to pull all sorts of messages for them because I didn't get a clear message. But the raspberries for some of you could indicate that you have the same preference in food, and that's a really good sign for the connection. The raspberries can also indicate that you have separate preferences for food, that you both don't like the same types of food, and in that way, it's a benefit for the connection. Whatever the case may be. Something about food preferences is a sign to them or you that this is the right connection, or that, yeah, there's something about that, There might be even like a feeling of, I don't know if we'll get along because we don't like the same food preferences, stuff like that. That could be something this person's thinking about as well. So keep that in mind, that kind of sensory component is a factor here, whether for you or for them. And just know that, like, I don't know if you've ever had a raspberry, like you can test this out. I don't know if you guys have raspberries where you live. I'm sure everywhere has raspberries. What am I talking about? But basically, like, bite into a raspberry. How do you feel? What does it taste like? That your experience of that raspberry is kind of how your person feels about you. And this is such kind of like a floaty head in the clouds reading, and like the raspberries are coming through as like a sensory input. This reading is not coming through in how I'm used to readings, which is just as like language and information and just knowing things. It's coming through in a very vague, otherworldly sense. Like, oh, like their mind's so flowy, and oh, you guys need to taste a raspberry to know what they think about you. It's like, it's not my normal readings that I do, guys. And so maybe some of you who have come to this channel for today's reading, like, this is a side of you that like maybe doesn't get acknowledged in readings often or something like that. And it could be a side of you that, maybe like this just happens to be the right reading for you. I apologize for other videos on my channel because they're very more like information focused, but this one feels very sensory, mental imagery kind of vibes. So if you guys like the reading, you can like or comment below. If you really like this reading, you feel like future ones will resonate, you can subscribe to the channel. And with that said, I bid you adieu. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.